Wait, great, I saw it. Okay, wait. You know what? I didn't let everybody see me, and I usually try to do that at least once during the presentation, if I was at the right angle. I'm going to turn off my camera in a minute because the internet always seems to work better when I'm not on camera, but I'm glad to see y'all here. Let's turn that back off. And welcome to High School Planning for Students with Disabilities. This training will cover some of the most commonly asked questions parents ask about the high school years and transition. To ensure this training is helpful and relevant, we're going to be doing a few interactive activities, and there's going to be an evaluation at the end. The evaluation only takes 2 minutes, and it helps us continuously improve trainings. Everyone that completes the evaluation is going to get a copy of the PowerPoint. If you lose audio or video, you can call in using the number included in your registration confirmation. But it's my experience, if you wait a few seconds, that Zoom will try and connect back itself. Y'all are encouraged to submit questions in the chat box, and we're also going to have a question and answer at the end of the training. So I'm Melinda Elliott, and the co-host is Wallace Johnson, my partner in crime. And we're the presenters for this training. Families Helping Families of Southwest Louisiana is one of 10 nonprofit resource centers in the Families Helping Families network of centers. We're here to provide support to parents of children, youth, and adults with disabilities or special health care needs. We do this through individual assistance, information sharing, outreach, trainings, peer-to-peer support, advocacy, a variety of ways. This training was created with funding from the United States Department of Education to the Louisiana Parent Training and Information Center, which is a program of Families Helping Families of Greater New Orleans, in collaboration with the Louisiana Department of Education, to be used by the statewide network of Families Helping Family Centers. So we want to make sure and give them all the credit for putting this together. We provide webinars and in-person trainings on special education and disability related topics. We invite you to check out our Facebook and our website for our events. Our website is www.fhfswla.org. But check them regularly. Register for any upcoming training that might be of interest to you. You can also request specific training that we currently aren't offering. Chances are, if you're interested in a topic, someone else is too, and you can do that on your evaluation. We will be very happy to get that kind of feedback. So I'm an education specialist for Families Helping Families, but I'm also the LACAN leader for Region 5. That's Beauregard, Allen, Calcasieu, Jeff Davis, and Cameron parishes. The same parishes the Families Helping Families Center serves, Families Helping Families of Southwest Louisiana. And we are a grassroots network of parents, people with disabilities, people that care about people with disabilities, and professionals that work to make the systems that serve people with disabilities work better. So as y'all know, the legislature is in, and we have a legislative agenda every year. This year, we're working on eliminating the flexible family fund. If you have a child with one of the more severe disabilities, that's a fund at the MCAL Human Service Authority locally. You can contact us and we can talk about the Human Service Authority in your area if you're outside of this area. We're also working on raising night wages to the same level as day wages. Right now, night wages for waiver services are $5 less, which makes it really difficult. It's already difficult to get staff. It's even more difficult for the few people that are approved for night staff to get staff. And oh, the Families Helping Families funding. I was forgetting one of the important ones. There's only three. For the past 3 years, we've been getting $50,000 on top of the funds that we already get through the legislator and the Developmental Disabilities Council. The price of everything's gone up. The price of electricity, the price of insurance, the price of water, everything. It's the same way for our center, just like it is for everybody else. So that money helps keep our center up to date and keep the doors open. Let's see, if you join, it's free. Basically, you can contact me or you can go to the website. I'm sure Wallace has dropped the website in the chat box, or he will shortly. You're basically signing up to get emails, information. Now, of course, I hope you're going to find that information important and contact your legislator. We'll even talk about which legislators you need to contact in those alerts. Some of you might have a good story about needing flexible family funds or using flexible family funds or trying to hire people at night or even Families Helping Families, and could tell your story at our round table. Now, we've already had the one for this year, but we have one every year, and there's issues like this every year. On legislative visits, when you bump into your legislator somewhere, and a few of y'all could do it in Baton Rouge. And basically, you learn about the service system. We also do special education issues, and you learn more about those kind of issues. One of the things that has come up this legislative session is about education savings account, the ESAs. Although I think that a lot of people think it's a good idea, from what I understand, it's not enough money to cover the entire tuition, and it takes money outside of the school systems, the public school systems. So the children that are left that are economically disadvantaged or have disabilities, well, the school has less to work with. Anyway, some important topics. Y'all are welcome to call me. I work at the Families Helping Family Center, and we can talk about it, well, at any point in time. So let's do an icebreaker. That's going to allow you to type in the chat, make sure it works, make sure we can see it. Can you name something purple? So I like snow cones. I like grape flavored snow cones, the very, very best, which are purple. Who's next? Let's see. Grapes. Barney? I don't know what Barney is. Oh, Barney, the dinosaur, right? The mattress company. More grapes. Let's see. Your blouse? Oh, cool. Purple people eater. Eggplant. I like eggplant too. Sometimes eggplant doesn't like me, but I like eggplant. Let's see, Easter eggs, cool. Purple people eater, great, great, responses. So let's talk about our learning objectives today. We want to provide you with the meaning of frequently used acronyms related to the transition process. We want to increase your knowledge about post-school transition process. We want to introduce you to some of the adult service agencies and what they do, and then provide you with some great resources and handouts to use in the transition process. So let's get into it. Some of those commonly used acronyms that you're going to hear in this presentation and in your child student meetings is IEP, the Individualized Education Program, VAPE, the Free Appropriate Public Education, Voc Rehab or LRS. So Voc Rehab is Vocational Rehabilitation Services. LRS is Louisiana Rehabilitation Services. The CILS, the Centers for Independent Living, and CAP, which is the Client Assistance Programs. And then there's a few terms that you're going to hear too, here and in high school and adult life. Age of majority, and I'm going to talk about these more. Transfer of rights, Jumpstart, the April Dunn Act, and Leap Connect. So a lot of this is in question answer format. Just seemed like a really good way to present this information. So what's a transition plan? A transition plan is a statement of transition needs based upon his or her transition assessment and future goals. And then it's written into it has to be written into their IEP. IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, mandates the annual IEP meeting focus on more specific planning and goal setting for necessary transition services. Things to be included are academic preparation, community experience, development of vocational and independent living objectives, and, if applicable, of a functional vocational evaluation. If your child's teacher's been teaching a long time, she might refer, or he might refer to it as a transitional IEP. And that's kind of a term that was used years ago, but you need to know there's not a separate transition IEP, but an IEP with the transition plan that should be attached on the front. So, at what age does a transition plan need to be in place? IDEA, the law that governs special education, requires that the first IEP that will be in effect when the student turns 16 has to have that transition plan. The IEP team can do it before the student turns 16. They can talk about those transition services. They can put a transition page on there and start the services at an earlier age. And that's appropriate for some students depending on their situation. So sometimes parents ask us, what if my child doesn't have any future goals? And often students with disabilities don't have future goals because they don't know to dream like their non-disabled peers. Every person deserves a chance to have a job they love and live as independently as possible. As a parent, you can encourage your child to dream of their future and help them identify things they might like to do. And you can start this at a really, really early age. Lots of families do it from elementary school, before elementary school, talking about what you're going to do when you grow up. All students need to be thinking about they want to do as an adult before that first transition plan meeting takes place. It's their chance to take an active role in planning their education and make their schooling relevant to their future. It's time for the student to talk about their dreams and set goals for reaching them. And it's a way he or she can prove what he or she can accomplish and they can identify things they enjoy and feel competent doing. And they can set themselves on a path of their own choosing. At the same time, they should be realistic about how they'll need to accommodate for their learning difficulties while pursuing their dreams. Transition plans should emphasize their students' ability rather than the areas of difficulty they have. Some steps high school students can take to prepare for their transition planning process can be using their school's career center to identify their interests and find out what education and training are required. Completing interest inventories to identify interests, skills, abilities, and aptitudes they may not realize they have related to employment. They can do volunteer work or entry-level jobs in their fields of interest. They can observe and interview adults who perform the type of work that interests them. And then maybe develop training institutes and colleges to learn about entrance requirements that will help your teenager choose classes that will help them in high school. We recognize students with more disabilities might have less opportunities, but just like always, you presume competence and give them the dignity of risk. Just like students without disabilities, students with disabilities many times change their career paths and post-high school dreams. I sure did. That doesn't mean they failed. It just means they've adjusted their goals to align with their abilities. Let's do one of those participant sharing times. The question is, are there other things you've done or can think of to help your youth discover interest for future goals? Put them in the chat box for me, please. Where is a career center located? At their high school or outside of school? Okay, so I had a question. So many times the career center is in the counselor's office, at least in my neck of the woods. Sometimes there's a separate room and something separate going on, or sometimes it's part of certain classes. Like some of the, they don't call it home ec anymore, but some of the home ec classes had career information going on in those class. So, but the first thing that I try is that counselor's office. Many times it's like as soon as you walk in the door. So are there other things you have done or can think of to help your youth discover interests for future goals? Somebody said volunteering. That's great. Another one is career counseling and mentoring. That's great. And in the latter part of high school, like your senior year, there's going to be an agency, the one called Vocational Rehab or LRS, that's going to be able to help. Okay. Those are great answers. Thank y'all. Another question is, how long can my child stay in school? So the school district is required to offer FAPE to those students with disabilities till their 21st birthday, unless the student received a state diploma. Bulletin 1706, the regulations for implementation of the Children with Exceptionalities Act, states a student with a disability shall remain eligible for services until reaching age 22, until the day they turn 22, unless they've graduated from high school with a regular high school diploma. A student with a disability whose 22nd birthday occurs during the course of the regular school year may be allowed to remain in school for the remainder of the school year. So the National Technical Assistance Center on Transition and the Center for Parent Training and Information Resources created a 15-page resource designed to help students with disabilities take steps to transition from high school to adult life. And let's see if, oh yeah, it's going to work great. Sometimes the PowerPoint is a little bit fussy, but great. So the guide asks us questions like, are you worried about where to get food and where to live? Or are you worried about money? Or all teenagers are worried about money. Anyway, or do you need help making a doctor's appointment or getting your medicine? And are you worried about how you'll get from place to place? And then the document has a lot of resources and links to even more resources. It's like a workbook with lots of questions and space to write answers. Let's talk a minute about what's Jumpstart. Jumpstart is Louisiana's innovative career and technical education program. Jumpstart prepares students to lead productive adult lives capable of continuing their education after high school while earning certification in high-wage career sectors. High-wage career sectors. Students are required to attain industry promulgated, industry-valued credentials in order to graduate with a career diploma. It's an elective path for students pursuing a university preparatory diploma. Is Jumpstart for students with IEPs? There are several Jumpstart pathways. Students with IEPs can participate in any of them. However, if a student with a disability their disability persistently impacts their ability to progress in the general ed curriculum, as per the April Dunn Act, they become eligible when they meet certain criteria. Okay, then let me check if there's any questions, because I'll just keep talking. Nope, it seems like we're still good. Don't forget, y'all can keep dropping questions in that chat box. What does age of majority mean? So age of majority is when the educational rights provided to the parent transfer to the student when they reach 18 years of age. I think there's even something in the legislature about that this year, about making sure that parents know exactly what that means. So what does the term transfer of rights have to do with my child's IEP? At least a year before the student reaches the age of majority under our state's law, the student's IEP must include a statement that the student has been informed of his or her rights, if any, under Part B of the Act, that will transfer to the student on reaching the age of majority. In addition, parents must be notified that all rights will transfer to their youth. That means once your child turns 18, all of their legal rights will transfer to them for decision making. One more time. Let me check for questions because sometimes those things are a little bit complicated. Nope, we're still doing good. Okay, so let's do another participant sharing time. Share a little bit of knowledge. Think about potential pros and cons in transferring of rights. What do you immediately think about? And type them in the chat. Has anybody reached the age of majority and that transfer of rights? Not yet. Well, good. You know it's coming because there has been some concern that parents don't always know that it's coming and don't have enough time to prepare for it. Let's see. The 18-year-old may not be able to verbalize their wants or needs or understand what's being asked of them. Yeah, that is a con. That is something that you need to start talking about really as young as 16. Maybe talk to somebody about the things that you can do to be able to continue to help them. The student doesn't always make the right decisions. Yeah, I don't either. And I think that's part of that right to take risks that you know, they uh they can fail. We all did. At least I did. I don't know if y'all do. Um, so what if he makes the wrong choices without me? Like I said, some of you are going to know as early as 16 that you need to investigate what other things can be done to be able to continue to help your child. But yeah, he's going to make wrong choices without you. He can also ask for you to attend IEP meetings or go to meetings with at other places like Louisiana Rehabilitative Services or Vocational Rehab, same place, right? To help him keep track of the information or to help him understand. Yeah, they're going to want to talk to him most of the time, but he can still get help from you. Let's see. Let me go back up on the questions. How do you get their power of attorney? So they have to agree, and you either can go to a notary public or an attorney to get a power of attorney. A power of attorney, as long as your child agrees and wants help, is a fairly easy thing to get. Especially at IEP meetings, some districts may manipulate students into accepting or removing the wrong services. So generally, school systems are smarter than that, right? At least in my experience, and I've worked with lots and lots and lots of students, generally they don't want to be in that position of being accused of that, and they really encourage the student to invite mom, dad, parents to the IEP meetings. Yes, you're right. That could happen. But once you help the student understand, the student can change their mind just like you can. Let me see. I would say independent living skills, extended foster care and planning, career goals and planning, like FAFSA and college apps, clear communication, peer support and discussion, resources, and faith-based support groups and advocacy. Yep, all of those sound like good ideas to me. Whether you're the student at the age of majority or whether you're the parent, by the way. Yep, those are good things to think of. All right, if I am not mistaken, Wallace Johnson is going to take up from here, and I'm still hanging out. And Wallace has been hanging out all this time. So it's yours, Wallace.
Thank you, Melinda, and thank you everyone for participating in the questions, for input. So that's helpful for not only us, but for others too that may have the same questions. So now we're going to talk about what are the graduation options for students with disabilities. While most students with disabilities in Louisiana pursue a traditional pathway to a high school diploma, certain students with disabilities who have an IEP have alternate pathways to a diploma available to them. Students at the high school level who are eligible under the April Dunn Act can pursue a standard high school diploma by meeting standard graduation requirements through alternate means. Students at the high school level who are assessed on Leap Connect can pursue a diploma pathway by meeting alternate requirements. Resources are available which can assist both educators and families in planning and implementing a successful high school experience for students with disabilities who have individualized education programs known as IEP. Now let's take a look at where you can find graduation resources. This is a screenshot of the Louisiana Department of Education homepage. You can get there by going to louisianabelieves.com. And then next you'll see the students with disabilities on the homepage where there's a blue arrow. If you click where the blue arrow is, it'll bring you to the next page. And this is the landing page for students with disabilities. Then next, you'll see where I have the blue arrow. On this page, it'll bring you to the graduation pathways if you click on that. And then you'll see it'll bring up on the next slide graduation resources. Then when you click graduation resources where the blue arrow is, it'll bring up a 2-page document where you have resources for students with disabilities.
Wallace, you have a question in the chat. Do you want it now or later?
Okay.
It says, "Good morning. I'm just tuning in. My 8th grader has LEAP this week. What options do we have for students with disabilities if they may be struggling with higher scores? Also, will we receive the recording today or the slides from today?"
Would you like me to answer that or do you want to answer it?
You can answer it, of course.
Okay. Yes, they are taking LEAP this week, but this is something that you could also talk about prior to it coming at your IEP meetings and with your teachers to get information and things like that to help support your child while they're doing LEAP. On louisianabelieves.com, they have areas where they have publications or whatever that can help you with that. So you can know what's going on with LEAP, and also how to interpret the scores and things that they have from the results of that. So that's available at louisianabelieves.com. And if you need help finding that, you could contact us at Families Help Families, and we can help you find that information about LEAP and the stuff that you could use to help prepare your student for leave, because they have practice tests and things like that available online, where you could look at so they could kind of get an idea what that might be. And although it might be kind of late this year to start that, maybe this is something that you could keep in mind for next year too. That way you can have the information. And yes, we will send out the slides and everything later this afternoon. And hopefully later on this week, I'll have the recording up on YouTube.
So we just went over the April Dunn Act. I don't know if you know about it. You'll see it when you get the PowerPoint, but you can also call us or your local Families Helping Family Center, and they can talk to you some more about that. But yes, there are some types of help. Yes.
And who is invited to the transition meeting? The IDEA requires that in addition to the parent, the child, and the school personnel and other agency representatives that participate in the transition planning process as needed could be invited to the IEP transition meeting. At age 16 or younger, if appropriate, the student must be invited along with representatives from any other agency that's likely to be responsible for providing or paying for transition services. Outside agency representatives who could be invited to the IEP meeting with parental consent may include a vocational rehabilitation counselor, a social worker, employment agency staff, independent living center staff, disability support staff from a post-secondary educational or technical school, a person knowledgeable about assisted technology, a person knowledgeable about financial benefits such as supplemental Social Security income known as SSI, and Medicaid or medical assistance, personal care or health care providers, including mental health care providers, a probation officer or a teacher from the Juvenile Justice Center, community park and recreation staff, and transportation agency staff. And families may invite an advocate from an advocacy organization to assist them interpreting information as well as follow along. If an agency does not send a representative, the public agency shall take other steps to obtain participation of the agency. If the participating agency fails to provide the transition service that was agreed upon, the IEP team must reconvene to explore alternate ways of meeting those needs or revise the IEP. Each agency or service provider generally has a different set of criteria for eligibility and often has a waiting list for services. Families can be overwhelmed with the amount of information and paperwork required for the application and follow through. Part of the transition planning can address those issues and identify who families can call on for support and coordination. It can be very beneficial to the whole team if one person is identified as the single point of contact and service coordinator for the family and other team members. Now we have participant sharing time. So we've been getting some good feedback from this part. So the question here is, think about other people that could attend your child's IEP meeting. Who are they and how would your child benefit from attending them? You can write them in the chat box. Okay. So in the chat box, Did we have other experts on your child? That's a good answer. And one of them I've been thinking about lately is because I know it's getting close to summertime and a lot of people are looking for things to do. It mentioned earlier, or I talked about uh, someone from a Parks and Recreation department, coming and sharing the things that's done in the area. So that might be somebody good. Somebody said family and friends, and that's definitely good. Family and friends could also give some good input. Very good. All right. And again, thank you for your input. So we'll move right along. So, what is vocational rehabilitation? Vocational rehabilitation is often referred to as voc rehab, and it provides comprehensive rehabilitation services that go far beyond those found in routine job training programs. This is frequently includes work evaluation and job readiness services, assessments for, and provision of assistive technology, such as customized computer interfaces for persons with physical or sensory disabilities, job counseling services, and medical and therapeutic services. Vocational rehabilitation services are provided through Louisiana Rehabilitation Services, which is commonly referred to as LRS. What is a Center for Independent Living? The term Center for Independent Living means consumer controlled, community based, cross disability, non residential, private, nonprofit agency that is designed and operated within local communities by individuals with disabilities, and it provides an array of independent living services. At a minimum of 51% of the staff are persons with disabilities, and 51% of the board of directors are persons with a significant disability. A Center for Independent Living provides at a minimum the following core services: information referral, independent living skills training, individual and systems advocacy, peer counseling, and transition assistance from nursing homes and other community institutions to community-based residences, assisting individuals to avoid institutional placement and the transition of youth with significant disabilities after completing a secondary education to a post-secondary life. Louisiana has 8 centers for independent living located throughout the state. New Horizons has centers located in Freeport, Monroe, and Alexandria. The Resource for Independent Living has centers located in Kinder and Baton Rouge. And the Southwest Louisiana Independent Center has centers located in Lake Charles and Lafayette. What is the CAP program? The CAP program is called the Client Assistance Program. It helps individuals working with or applying for Louisiana Rehabilitation Services and American Indian Rehabilitation Services understand their benefits and rights under the Rehabilitation Act of 1973. Disability Rights for Louisiana provides the CAP services in Louisiana. Will I lose my benefits if I go to work? Social Security and other programs have many programs and rules. The goal is for people who can work to work, but they also understand sometimes people still need benefits due to employment inequities for people with disabilities that they often face. It's not unusual for individuals with disabilities to still collect some of their benefits while they work. We highly recommend individuals with disabilities to work with their benefits planning service agencies. They are able to help you go over your unique situation and give you guidance that is specific for you. The Louisiana Benefits Planning Services has two Social Security assistance funded work incentive at planning and assistance grants. One of these is located at the LSU Human Development Center, and the other is located at Lighthouse, Louisiana. Is healthcare transition a part of school transition? Healthcare transition is like the process of moving from a child slash family centered model of healthcare to an adult slash patient centered model of healthcare, with or without transitioning to a new clinician. It involves planning, transfer, and integration into adult centered healthcare. The goal of health centered healthcare transition are to improve the ability of youth and young adults with and without special health care needs to manage their own health care and effectively use health services, and to ensure organized process in pediatric and adult health care, and to facilitate practices of transition for preparation to transfer the care and the integration into adult centered health care. So to move from the pediatric into adult healthcare practice. If your youth will need assistance in learning about healthcare transition, then you should include it as a part of your transition plan at school. Smooth Moves, YHT.org is a great resource that provides information to help you map out the steps for healthcare transition. Can my child with an intellectual disability really go to college? Louisiana has several programs available at universities and community colleges around the state for students with intellectual disability. Because this list is growing, please call your local Family Center to discuss what options are available for your child. Earlier, I spoke about Smooth Moves. This is the website I wanted to show you, and some of the great resources are available here. This is the homepage where you can get there by going to smoothmoveYHT.org. This website was created by Patty Barocchio, a nurse with the Louisiana Bureau of Family Health. It was created with teens and youth in mind that are getting ready to transition in adulthood. There's a lot of resources specific to healthcare transition, which is very important to many students with disabilities that also have healthcare concerns. However, it has some other great resources too. One of the things I really like about this site is the tips and the how-tos. It gives you clear information on how to navigate the site. Many sites don't have this type of tool to the user, but this site is located on the homepage. All you have to do is scroll down to use it. One of the things that I like on this site is the tips and how-tos. And it gives clear information on how to navigate the site. So again, it's really, really good to investigate this site, to look into it for all the information that it has, It's got lots and lots of resources. So it'll be included in the resources that you get in the PowerPoint. So here, and I'm going to go over it a little bit just to give you an idea as to why. Where the yellow arrow is pointed, it points to the YHT, the Youth Healthcare Transition Plan. So it points to that. So you have to click there. And then it also, like I said, it's got planning tools. And you can click here for the planning tools. And next you're going to see the many types of planning tools that come up. Planning tools like moving from pediatric to adult health care, planning tool for workbook for you, planning tools to how to create your own plan, a questionnaire, a career planning questionnaire, career interest survey, and a young adults transition plan. So there's many, many resources here that you get to see. These are all really, really cool. And it also has videos, YouTube videos that are a great resource as well. Now we're going to go over a summary and summarize what we learned today. So our learning objectives were to provide you with the frequently used acronyms related to the transition process, like age of majority, transfer of rights, Jumpstart, April Dunn Act, Leap Connect, and vocational rehab. So in order to increase your knowledge about this process, you learn your child needs a transition plan in place before they turn age 16. And the plan is that his or her goals are for their future. And children or a child can have a transition plan earlier than 16. We discuss ways to help your child identify future goals. And you also learned about graduation options and that your child can stay in school through the year they turn age 21. We discussed different adult agencies that should be invited to your youth transition meetings with your permission, of course. And then we also introduced you some adult service agencies and what they do. And we provided you with information on the Louisiana community colleges and universities that offer developmental disability programs. And then we shared a lot of great resources and handouts to use in this transition process. And so here's the list of websites that we mentioned in today's training that'll be included in the PowerPoint. So you'll have links to go to these after you complete your evaluation. And this is in addition to all the links we discussed today. You'll get an electronic copy of these documents. And so if you need additional supports or any information on your parental rights or have any other educational issues, you can contact us at Families Helping Families. Our phone number is 1-800-894-6558. Or our local number, if you're in the Lake Charles area, is area code 337-436-2570. And you can get with us, please call us. You can also email us at info@fhfswla.org. We provide lots of great information on social media channels, so you can reach out to us or check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and like us, follow us, and share our posts. You can share information. Our website is a great resource of information. You can be added to our newsletter list and find other great resources at our website. Our website is www.fhfswla.org. And then with that said, I'll turn it over to Melinda so she can finish us out.
Great. Thank you, Wallace. So Wallace is going to put the link for the evaluation in the chat box. You also will get a copy of the link in your email. If you would complete that evaluation on this training, we'd appreciate it very much. It helps us improve our trainings. Everyone that registered and completed this survey will get a copy of the PowerPoint and any handouts that we've mentioned. And let's see. We are up to the any questions part. We've gone through the frequently asked questions. Hopefully you've learned some new things. But if you have more questions that haven't been answered, you can put it in the chat box. You can also email us too. Let me check the chat box. So Sharon said support, to go to the IEP meeting, support workers or DSWs, direct support workers. Good idea. And then thanking us in the chat box. Wallace dropped the link. Melissa, how do you know if the annual IEP meeting you are going to attend is a transition meeting or a regular annual IEP meeting? So you should be getting a document before IEP meetings called prior written notice. It should give you notice that there's an IEP meeting, the date and time, and the people that will be at the IEP meeting. On that document, there's a place where they're going to tell you that it's a transition meeting. And then you should be expecting it sometime between 15 and 16, because it has to be done at 16. Let's see, Lynette White Pierce, how do I get a DSW? Oh, wow, Lynette, that is a whole nother workshop. If you call me or Wallace at the office, we can talk to you about how you get direct support workers and the agency that you would work with. I wish there was enough time for me to talk about it today, but yeah, contact our office so we can talk about it. How can students advocate to have their post-secondary goals taken seriously instead of the team pushing their agenda? Well, I guess the first thing that I would start with is that transition page and the goals on that transition page and an intense discussion during that IEP meeting about what it's going to take the student to reach those goals. And then do you have the right people at the IEP meeting? Sometimes that type of discussion requires people that can think outside of the box. So I'm not sure what school system you're from, but so like in Calcasieu Parish, we have a layer of special education people called program facilitators. Sometimes I think they're called IEP facilitators. So you might need to ask for that person or even somebody higher up in the chain of command to be at the meeting to talk about those post-secondary goals. Does that help? Let me know in the box. Lynette, I'll be sure to reach out. Great job. We'll be watching for your call, Lynette. And then the evaluation link again. So we're gonna, thank you. The facilitators are not very helpful. They suggest mediation most of the time. So then before I would go to mediation, I would want to speak to the director of special education in your parish. That's sort of the top dog about special education. There are supervisors above that person for the school district, but about special education, you want to go to sometimes they call it the director, or sometimes they call it the supervisor, depending on where you're at, and have a similar conversation. We also want to talk to you. So I hate to keep saying this, but call my office. Mediation's a great choice, but let's have a deeper conversation about that. Okay, I'm gonna hang out for a couple more minutes. Y'all can leave whenever y'all are ready. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's see. I think districts need to have more trainings in IEPs. Yeah, I think we all do. Wallace, I don't know much about this. Nikki's saying they can't open the evaluation. Let me try it. So it opened in a different browser on my computer, Mickey. So you're on your phone. Yep, we're at the end of my knowledge. Wallace says it's going to be emailed to you later today too. So you didn't miss your chance. You're going to get another chance to fill out the evaluation. And y'all don't forget to put workshops if y'all want to hear some workshops on there. Workshops about other subjects or webinars about other subjects. All right. Thank you guys. Bye.